Might need to get that thing off. Okay, cool. So today what we're gonna do is essentially teach you first hinging. So like it's the beginning of the kettlebell swing, which is gonna be our power exercise. I want you to think about like this format is essentially like the warm up and things that you can practice so that you can start basically on ramping to do the program by yourself. So like this is like the template you should be following as you progress into the workouts yourself. So we have a couple more sessions together and then we'll go from there. Okay. All right, and this is perfect view here too. So with the lower body stuff, we want to focus a little bit on our hips, right? So when we warm up, it's always kind of a good idea to start on the ground. So I'm gonna have you lay flat on your back and just check me out here. So when I lay down, I want to make sure I have a nice long spine. Okay, so I don't want to be like bent, right? Then my feet are going to be about shoulder width apart, and my knees are going to be tracking my toes. So I don't want my knees collapsing in or anything like that. So knees are tracking toes, long spine, and now my core is tight. Okay, I'm going to bend my elbows 90 degrees and push nice and evenly through the ground, elevate my hips and squeeze my glutes. And then I'm going to pull my hips down nice and even and let my back touch the ground nice and smooth. Core tight, press to the floor, squeeze your glutes and lift those hips up. And you should feel your glutes contract. So it's like you're pinching a penny between your butt cheeks. And then pull your hips down and like a gentle touch. Yeah. There you go. Inhale as you pull them down. Keep your core tight. Bridge up and squeeze your glutes. There we go. So make sure your shoulders are depressed, no shrugging. Right? Core is tight. Squeeze the glutes. Exhale as you bridge up. One more. Nice. All right. So that opens up the flexors a little bit here. Now, with any of a part of our warm up, you as whatever time you have and whatever makes you feel really good is what I recommend. So if you got some extra time and you want to do a couple rounds of this, great. If you just have enough time to get one round in, it's better than nothing. Okay. Now you're gonna sit and bring your legs to two 90-degree positions. So my front leg is at 90 degrees, my back leg is at 90. This front knee is directly in front of my hip. So I don't want it over here. I want it working out a little bit. Good. And now rotate your spine nice and tall. Good. Now take your hands and put them in front. Right. Now think of your spine nice and long in your spine. And keep it straight as I pull myself down. So I have a nice flat back and I pull myself down and feel the stretch in my hip. Yeah. Good. Walk your right hand further this way. And your left hand put in front of your shin. A little bit. Think about your opposite shoulder coming over your knee.
Gotcha.
You should feel a nice little stretch in your pocket. Good. Try to level off your shoulders a little bit. Yes. Now exhale, pull yourself down. And then back up. Good. And you should feel like a stretch in your hip pocket. Yeah. Let's do some reps here. Exhale, pulling down. Yep. There you go. Up and down. Think about keeping the line from the top of your head to your tailbone. One line. Breathing out as you pull down. A few more on that side. Nice and long through the spine. Exhale as you pull down. Try two more, then you're gonna swap legs. All right, nice job. A little switcheroo now. Yep. Now that left shin or your right shin, bring your right shin to me a little bit. Yeah. And now move your knee a little bit that way. Right. There we go. Okay, cool. Hands are good. Think about your spine is like a telescope. It's a long spine. And then I'm going to exhale, pull myself down. Try to feel that little stretch in the pocket. I feel the stretch a little bit, and then I come back up. And I'm just working reps there. So this is a little bit for lower back, hips, glutes. Big exhale. Breathe out as you pull yourself down. Two more. We'll work on this range. All right, good. And just to get some hamstrings, the back of your thighs, because we are going to be using that today. Let's go flat on the back again. Okay. We're basically resume this position, but then I just want you to extend one leg nice and straight. Okay. Now, point your toes towards your face and kind of push through your heel. Your foot should be pointed this way. Now I'm going to bring my leg up and keep the straightest leg possible. So if my knee bends, then I went too hard. So keep your leg straight, keep your lower back and your glute in contact with the floor, and you're going to feel a little stretch in the hamstrings, and then back down. Up, squeeze the quad, and then down. Yep. I'm just going up and down while keeping my leg very strictly straight. Exhale as I bring it up. There we go. And I'm keeping my lower back and my butt cheek on the floor. I want to feel the stretch in the back of my leg, maybe all the way from my heel to my glute, calf, hamstrings. Exhale as you bring it up. Think about pushing through that heel and squeezing the quad. Breathing out as you bring up the leg. Right, nice work. Let's go to a kneeling position. We're doing a little bit more of an extended warm up here because I want you to be nice and mobile. So we're gonna go into like we're gonna crawl. Okay. And I want you to walk your knees apart from each other as much as you can. And you feel like a groin stretch. Right? Then I'm gonna extend one leg out. Okay? Let's see if we can keep this foot flat on the floor. Okay. Now squeeze the top of your thigh like you just did. And you feel a nice little stretch. And I want you to rock back. Bring your butt to your heel. And then forward and back. Exhale when you push the hips back and squeeze your legs straight. It's feel like a little groin hamstring stretch. Exhale, pushing back as if you're bringing your butt cheek to your heel on that left knee. Exhale, pushing straight back. Squeeze the leg nice and straight. There we go. Try 3 more. All right, now you're going to swap legs. Yeah. Don't go too much that way. Try to just push straight back. Try to push straight back. There we go. Squeeze that long leg so you can feel that stretch. Try 2 more there. All right. Good job. How you feel?
Good, man.
All right, good. I haven't asked you, how's the shoulder mobility stuff been feeling?
I did it. I did it every day till Friday, but I didn't do anything Saturday, Sunday. And but no, it feels good, man. I mean, a little sore because I haven't done PT in about maybe 2 months, and but it feels good. It feels really good.
Good to hear. Okay, so we're just going to cover basic movement now. Okay, so the swing, which starts with the deadlift, it all comes to what we call the hip hinge. So most of the time when we do stuff, we most basically go up and down, which is squatting, right? On this, we're going to move forward and back. Okay. And you want to move your hips. That's going to be the primary thing that makes them move. So to start off, I'm going to be very tall, right? And I'm going to make my midsection stiff. Probably the best way to think about it is if you're bracing for a punch. Okay. That will keep your trunk stiff so that you don't move through your spine so much. I'm going to have some soft knees. Okay. I'm going to take the edges of my hands and I'm going to put them in the creases of my hips. With those soft knees, I'm going to chop and push back. And I'm going to go as far as I can. I'm going to feel some stretching in my hamstrings. And I'm going to push through my hips and come to a tall position. So I'm literally going to fold that where I chop my hips and push back. Drive forward. Give me a side view. Soft knees, pushing back. Yeah. And then forward again. Think more like you're going to touch your butt to the back wall versus you're bending your knees at all. Right. And then drive forward. So your shins should be relatively vertical the whole time. Right. Pushing back, little less up and down, little bit more forward back. Right about there.
Good. And you're only going to move you're going to push your hips back, and your shoulders are only going to continue to drop down as long as you're moving through your hips. So once you stop moving through your hips, your shoulders stop dropping. Yeah. Forcefully chop your hands and push them back. Like push your hands back into your hips and keep on leading like that. It will give you the cue. Yep, that's better. Sorry, 2 more. All right, nice job. Okay, cool. Get your heavier kettlebell. I think like you have a 20, right?
I think so. I got 3 of them. This is the 24K.
All right. So think about everything we do as just another ring on the ladder. When we get confused or we start introducing new stuff, just go back to that very first thing. Okay. So now I'm going to step over the kettlebell. And if you notice, the handle is going to be pretty much directly down so that it's just aligned with the arches of my feet, basically. Now I'm going to do the same exact thing I just did. I'm going to get stiff in my midsection. I'm going to have some soft knees. I'm going to push back. But now I'm going to reach straight down and grab that kettlebell. So my shoulder should be directly above the handle. So I don't want to be leaning forward. I want my shoulders to be directly above that handle. Okay? Yep. I'm going to grab with both hands. Okay, now I want you to act like you're going to crack that handle in half, like you're going to crack it. And you're going to feel your armpit muscles turn on. Now your shoulders are a little bit in front of the handle, so lean back it and drop your butt a little bit. Good. Now make a big open chest. Good. Now hold that position. Don't lean forward. Kind of lean into your hips and hamstrings. Feel how you have balance in your feet from your toes to your heels. Lean back a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be a little uncomfortable. And without picking up the bell, stand up. Good. See how you kind of like shifted a lot, like forward and back? Trust yourself to kind of load your hamstrings and your butt cheeks more. Because we're trying to load the backside, and if you're leaning forward and you're putting more weight in your toes, it's going to be a little difficult. Take a little baby step forward, just a little tiny one forward. A little more. All right about there. Okay, so I'm nice and tall. I have soft knees. I push back to my hips and I reach straight down. Good. Now I'm going to make the big open chest and pull my shoulder blades down. You can tuck your chin a little bit. Right about there, because now you have a nice line from the top of your head to your tailbone. Lean back into it. Feel your hamstrings engage. Feel the pressure of your feet pushing down through the floor. And relax. Okay, that's called your wedge, right? Meaning you feel like you're rooted to the floor. Remember, you're going to be eventually swinging this thing through your legs. So if you don't have like connection to the ground, you're going to stumble and you're going to fall and stuff like that. So you want to find where you have that nice center of gravity. All your weight is over the middle of your foot. You have nice disbursement from toe to heel, and you feel just like centered and rooted, okay? That's called your wedge. So every rep that you do, you should try to find that position at the bottom, okay? So now, my core is tight, I hinge, I grab my bell. Now, how do I initiate the lift? I want to be more pushed down to move the floor versus picking up with my back, right? Because that's going to strain my back. I want to think press down through the earth, and then as the bell starts to ascend, I'm going to start thinking drive my hips forward. So core is tight, hinge back, push through the floor, and right when I get to about my knees, that's when I'm going to really drive through my hips and come to the top position. Top position, my shoulders are over my hips are over my knees, and my core is tight. Legs are locked out, glutes are squeezing. And then as I initiate the descent, I'm going to push the hips back. So what I don't want to do is round my back. So as I come down, I push my hips back, and I'm gonna put it right back where I got it from. Right, so
on the carpet, you'll see how it's kind of smashed a little bit, or there's
Yeah.
like an imprint. You want to basically put it in the same position. Let's give that a try. Right. Now focus on pushing back versus up and down. A little better. Try one more. And relax. All right. So the easiest way, you're kind of going this way versus this way. So the easiest way to think about it is your shins. Look at my shins. Notice how they stay pretty much vertical and in the same position all the time. It's like the little tree trunks. They're not moving. Versus, watch them now. See how they keep on moving forward? They go
Yeah.
from that. They go from that vertical position to decreasing the angle. Okay, so emphasize that hinge. But this thing, keep my shins vertical. Right. And pushing back. Good. Now make a big open chest and depress your shoulders. Pull your shoulder blades down. There we go. Inhale. Exhale. Keep that belt tight to your body. No shrugging at the top. Don't shrug your shoulders at the top. There we go. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze your quads. Squeeze your glutes. Drive through the hips. Your hips are the primary mover here. There we go. Try one more. All right. And when you're going to put it on the ground, act like you're going to do a rep and you change your mind. Now park the belt. Okay, so that was better. Okay, yeah, you can relax now. It looks like you're shrugging a little bit at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's quite literally the opposite of what you want to do. You want to, you want to anti-shrug. When we do pretty much any of our exercises, you're going to think about the expression I'm going to say is pack your shoulders, which all that really means is think of your earlobe and your shoulder, and you're going to depress. You're going to pull down, create space between the ear and the shoulder, and you should feel your lat turn on. So pull the shoulder blades down. If I make a big chest, like I kind of like Superman my chest a little bit, it will do the same thing. So the cue of make a big chest, pack shoulders are about the same. It flattens your back and it pulls the head of your arm, your humerus, it pulls it into the socket. And now it's like set. And you should feel these guys turn on, your armpit muscles, your lats. Okay. So when you get to the top, make sure that you're not shrugging. Okay. Because when you swing, you don't want to be shrugging. All right. So let's try another time. And let's really emphasize keeping those shoulder blades down, squeezing the lats. Yeah, move just a little bit more over it, just a little bit, so that the line is straight up and down. Yeah, you want to do the shortest distance, so a straight line is going to do that for you. Now make that big chest. Good. You can tuck your chin a little bit as you hinge. Stand up all the way, and I want one line. So even stack your shoulders a little bit more over. You're kind of like this. Yes, right there. Squeeze your quads very firm. Now go back to hinging because now you're going up and down versus forward and back. Right about there. Good. Squeeze. Drive through those hips and lock them out. Little less up and down, push those hips back. That's better. And lead with your hips, not with the kettlebell. Better. 2 more. All right, relax. Good. Yeah. Just keep in mind that you don't want to be going vertically. You want to be going horizontally. At the top position, we're going to focus on a couple things. I don't want to stop short. So see how like my butt's a little bit further behind me? My shoulders are in front of my hips. I want to make sure that I'm driving through my hips. Even if I feel like a little bit of stretch here, but if I can get my glutes to clench, like I'm squeezing a pin between my butt cheeks, then I'm very tall. So it's one line from the top of my head to my heel. If I stop short, I will strain my back because now the load is here versus here. So let's drive through, squeeze these glutes so that I'm nice and tall, and I'm finishing here. That doesn't mean I need to lean back at all. I just need to get tall, right? And I'm still emphasizing as if I'm trying to touch my butt to the back wall. Moving through the hips, coming up all the way, squeezing the glutes. Okay, so focus on locking out your hips and moving in that forward and backwards position or pattern. Better. Squeeze. Squeeze. Get those legs very stiff at the top. Squeeze your legs stiff. There you go. No shrugging. Lead with the hips as you descend. Oh, get tall. Don't lean back. Just get tall. There you go. One more. Nice. Okay, good job. Relax. And then move back to the center of the camera. You keep on moving forward there. All right, nice. Okay, so that's kettlebell deadlift, right? So that's what you want to refer back to because we're going to start doing some of the more powerful motions for swing, okay? So you know what the top position feels like. Your legs are locked out, your core is tight, your glutes are tight. You're basically standing up like you're planking while standing, okay? Now, the deadlift is a strength exercise. You're working at a regular tempo. Swings are quick and powerful. And you can push stuff, and then you can push stuff. You're going to be doing more of number 2. You want to be explosive, but that takes some training. So without swinging the bell, you're going to do it like explosive deadlift. You're going to stand up nice and fast. You're going to hinge at the same speed that you were doing for your deadlift, but then you're going to stand up fast. So you're going to be like this. Nice and tall, core is tight. Push back. Reach that. Come on. Quickly. Hinge back. Gentle touch. Drop up fast. Now I don't want to overcompensate. Like I don't want to go fast and then lean back or anything. I just want to get to that position that I'm beginning to at the top. Squeeze. You'll see the bell kind of pops off my body a little bit. To that little flick. That means it wants to go up, which eventually it will. Right? So hinge at the same speed, pushing your butt back, but explode fast to the top position. Let's try that. Explosive deadlift. Good. And I'm keeping my shoulders down. I'm inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Keep those shins a little more vertical. There you go. Drive through the hips. Nice and tall. Clench those glutes. Get some control. Get some rhythm. There's better. 2 more. Nice. Good job. Shake it off a little bit. Good. So a lot of this, in fact, for swings, it definitely is the case. You want to try to create repetitions that are like Xeroxes of each other, right? High quality reps that look almost identical, because that means you're efficient, because you're going to be doing a decent amount of volume, meaning repetitions, when you do kettlebell swings. Like you're going to do at least 100, right? So if I'm inefficient, I'm probably going to crash and burn like around halfway. So all my reps should be looking exactly the same. So try to keep a high standard of rep and then try to consistently make that rep so that if I walk in, I shouldn't know if it's your 20th or your 200th because they look exactly the same, right? So try to focus on delivering a quality repetition that looks like a Xerox of one another, okay? Different repetitions, different tempos, not full range of motion. That's going to throw you off. And what you really need right now, or everybody really needs, is learn how to get a rhythm so that you can be efficient. Okay. So let's try to find 10 more reps here where you're delivering the same amount of power, you're finishing the same, you're moving exactly the same, the bell is moving in the same groove up and down. Nice big open chest, standing up nice and powerful. There we go. Much better. Drive through those hips, lock out. There we go. Two more. There. All right. Much better. Okay, cool. So you know what the finished position feels like. You know what it feels like to be at the top. The only difference between your deadlift and your swing is that the kettlebell be facing forward when you do your swing versus the kettlebell is facing the ground in your deadlift. And that's just because you're expressing more power in the swing. But how do we get that more power? Well, we had to get the bell to actually start doing its pendulum. All right. So instead of being directly over the bell, I'll take a step back and I'll form a tripod with my foot, the kettlebell, and my other foot, which is approximately arm's length distance away from me. Okay. But my setup is exactly the same for the last 2 exercises. It's the same here. Core tight, push back. Now, when I reach for the bell, I don't want to like lean forward to it. So you see, like, I'm kind of making like an H here. I want to lean back so that the bell tilts towards me. Tilt the bell towards you. And now make that big chest. Pull the shoulder blade down. Good. Now you're leaning forward more. I want you to lean into your hips more so you feel your hamstrings engaged. Tilt the bell towards you. Yeah, you could probably even drag it towards you a little bit. Right about there. Good. Now find that center. Don't be rocking forward and backwards. Just find the center of gravity on your feet there.
Can't hold it.
Yeah. Is it like it burns a little bit?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That means you're exactly where you should be, to be honest. Right there. And then relax. Good. Yeah. So if it burns, that means you're activated.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you want to feel. That's that rooting that I'm talking about. Because you're going to swing this thing. Right. Make sure like you never feel like you're reaching for it. Like you should always be kind of pulling it in just by not even bending your elbows, but by pulling your shoulder blades back. It should slide a little bit towards you. And then I want you to find that position where you feel like, ooh, I'm getting a little fatigued in my hamstrings here. Try to find that position, okay? Not reaching for the bell, where you and then you feel nice and stable in your feet because you're gonna swing this thing pretty soon. Yeah, like right about there. Pull the shoulder blades down, big open chest. Good. Feet are nice and solid on the floor. Core is tight. Low from the top of your head to your tailbone. Nice job. And relax. Okay, that was good. Okay. Like I said, you know what the top position feels like, what a finished position feels like. That's the beginning position. So now how do I get this pendulum going? Well, I need to essentially hike the kettlebell between my legs and load my hamstrings. So think like you're the long snapper hiking the football for the extra point. You're going to use your lats and roll the kettlebell between your legs so that your forearms hit those creases of the hips. And I'm sturdy, I'm not moving. I'm putting it right back where I got it from. But notice I wasn't falling,
Yeah.
right? And I didn't move up and down. The bell just moved in between my legs. So I'm gonna throw the bell behind me, keeping my wrist nice and straight. It should land right back where you got it from. Really give it some good oomph. And let it get slightly out in front of you again.
How's that look?
Pretty good. I want you to put it back right in the position that you found it in without readjusting your hips. So try to keep your body in the same position. The only thing that should be really moving is the bell. Right. Give it a good oomph. That's good. Two more. All right, yeah, sucks. Yeah.
Legs are fucking shaking.
Right. So think about it like this. Your hamstrings, the back of your legs, are like a bow and arrow, right? So when I hike that kettlebell, they get pulled. And now they're all loaded and they have all this energy. So when I stand up, it's like I'm gonna let go of the arrow and it's gonna go with the bow, it's gonna go flying. But I have to give it a good strong hike in order to load those hamstrings. Because the bell is being pulled down from gravity constantly, right? So to make it a pendulum, I had to have energy going in both directions. Most people just think about the snap of the hips to get to the tall position, but there's a lot of energy on that backswing. Okay. So to get it going, I had to like essentially defy gravity. So I had to really throw that bell with some good force between my legs to get everything started. Just make sure that your wrist doesn't bend. So I don't want my wrist to bend when I hike the bell. I want to keep my wrist nice and straight. And like I said, give it a good oomph. Like you're really trying to hike it nice and far behind you. Give me 5 strong, powerful ones. Basically, think about bringing those forearms into the creases of your hips with a lot of power. Right. Right. Better. Much better. Good. Okay. So that's the beginning. You know what the finish feels like. Now all you're going to do is basically hike the bell and deadlift as fast as you can. That's going to be the swing. What we're going to do is called power swing, meaning you're essentially going to come back to the starting position every single rep. Okay. So that you can find out where is my home position? Where do I feel like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some swings right now. It's really important to set up like these setups. So whether I'm doing a squat, a push up, a get up, a swing, I want to be in the same position in the beginning for every single rep I do so that I know the exercise. Your body will be like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. But if I come up to the kettlebell or if I come up to the floor to do a push up and my setup is different every time, I'm never going to make the progression, the adjustment, the adaptation. Okay. So just make sure that you feel like you're consistently doing the same setup over and over and over, and it'll make this thing a lot more easy. So on the power swing, first my bell, tall, force tight. I'm gonna hike that bell and then I'm gonna stand up nice and fast. Right back where I got it. Now I'm ready to go again. Right back where I got it. And notice how the bell doesn't flop or bang or anything. I have complete control over the kettlebell. What I don't want to do is this, where my hips are over here and I'm lifting it with my arms. My arms are like spaghetti, to be honest. They're loose. The shoulder's packed, but my arms are loose. All my power is coming from my hips and my hamstrings versus my little tiny shoulder muscles that are in charge of lifting. So I want to explode through those hips. So over here. The bell always needs to go to about parallel.
Sure.
Just make sure that you're standing up all the way. That's the easiest way to think about it. Stand up all the way. All right. Even more forceful and more tall. More explosion, taller position. Yeah. Lots of arms there. Now see, what? There, that was better on the top. See how you're getting pulled forward every rep though?
Yeah.
Pause. Pause for a moment.
The more thrust you have, it's easier on your arms.
And relax. Relax for a moment. Yeah. Definitely lifting with the arms because your hips are here when you're finishing. Be here because you're driving through here. And the reason that you're trying to, it's kind of like floppy almost, is you're here. And then you go like this. You're like rocking forward and backwards. Just come back to that position. I shouldn't need to make any adjustment by rolling forward and then coming back. Find the same position every single time without that little rocking forward and back.
All right.
All right. So same position at the bottom. And then make sure that you're locking out your hips at the top. Yes. Bell should be in the same position. Don't reach forward. Make the little adjustment and pull it towards you if you need to.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Explode through those hips. Lock out.
Hold on. Hold on. I feel like I'm losing the grip.
Think about cracking the handle. All right, relax. Shake it off a little bit. Okay. So, you know, pardon the pun, but like the only way to really get this is to go full swing. Like,
For sure. Look,
you have.
this is too heavy for me right now, man. Is there?
All right, let's try to get that 20. Let's try to get that 20. That's fine. That's good. So you can probably use that for deadlifting, but you can use this one for swinging.
Yeah, I mean, I'll work up to that one.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out in a long time, man.
So take a little breather and see if you can finish in the hips a little bit more. Remember, I don't want to use my little arm muscles. I want to use my big, strong glutes and hamstrings, my legs. Get tall all the way. There, a little more. Lock up those hips. Better.
Okay.
All right, relax. Okay, so the only way to really get through it now is to do full swing. Okay. Now, I want you to think about, like, you remember back like in the 90s, they had that toy that all like the executives had. It had the balls and you hit the ball and then the other ones don't move and then it pops off. This is the same thing, okay? But I'm using my hips. So I want you to give me 5 full swings. Finishing the hips.
Gotcha.
Just focus on getting tall and locking out your hips. Yes. 3, 4, 5. Good. Relax. Good. Beautiful. Okay. So like we mentioned in the call, what's really good for about kettlebells is that they allow you to work on your flexibility like indirectly.
Yeah.
But you have to be intentional about it. So I would get more flexible hamstrings by hinging. But like this, if I'm here, it's not a lot of power. Think about it like a punch. If I'm punching somebody, if I'm just punching them like this, probably not going to do a lot of damage. But if I get the full range of motion and connect, now I have damage. Same thing here. If I'm just here, I'm going to run out of power, and the bell's going to go down. So I have to emphasize that hinge to my range. Except work the hips back. Feel the load and the stretch in the hamstrings. Okay? So don't be so short ranged. Going for the bigger stroke. All right? Give it a try. Work on, you basically should be where you are just right there. There you go. Snap, punch, squeeze your quads. Squeeze your quads right there. 4, 5. Relax. Better. Better, better, better. Now you see how this could be mistaken for cardiovascular training.
Okay, dude.
Because your heart's getting up, pounding, things like that. But what it really is that you're delivering your maximum amount of strength in the most minimal amount of time from multiple repetitions.
Yeah.
All right. So, but there is a cardiovascular effect. Now, how do we kind of negate some of that? Well, number one, we need to get a breathing pattern. So as I hinge, I take a deep breath into my nose. And then as I extend, I do a quick exhale. And that will keep a rhythm, and it will keep your heart rate low. As you're recovering, when you're done with your reps, you want to be intentional about your recovery. So you're trying to calm down. So you're going to shake it loose, and I'm going to breathe in. And that will bring down your heart rate. Okay? But you have to be intentional about it. Because, like it or not, your body doesn't know that you're working out. As far as it knows, you just got into a little rumble with somebody in the street. It just knows that you just gave it some stress. But in order for it to recover, I have to be intentional about it. Okay? So you're going to do 10 reps at maximum right now. That takes about 20 seconds. And usually we do every set, every minute. So that means you have 40 seconds of rest. So you have a 2-to-1 work-rest ratio, which should help you bring down your heart rate. Okay, but you need to be intentional about it. So on here, I want you to focus on good breathing pattern. Inhale as you hinge, exhale as you extend your hips. Be explosive and lock out your body at the top position. Let's try another set. Lock out those hips and wait for those arms to come to you. Good. Now get those hips a little further back and more power to the top. Pow, right. Pow. One more. Good. Relax. Nice job. So a little bit about rhythm here. Overall, it's pretty darn good. I extend my hips. The bell is traveling. The bell starts to come back. I want to wait until my arms reconnect with my body. Because if I'm here, my arms didn't connect yet, and I push my hips back, I want to get thrown off. So I pop off, my arms come back, reconnect, then I go back. So you have to like play chicken with yourself a little bit. You're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting, boom. Now my arms make contact, I go back to my hinge. Okay, and That will only come with practice. Let's try another set of 10. Good. Top it off. Wait for your arms a little longer. Right. Keep those shins in the same position. Relax. Good. Overall, that's pretty darn good. Like you're not. What's that?
Arms.
Yeah.
I started losing the form, and I started using more of my arms and my hips.
Right. So that's compensation, right? That's probably a little fatigue talking right there. So this is a good time to kind of wrap things up here. So you have this video, okay?
Yep.
I want you to go through the warm up, and then I don't want you jumping directly into swings. I want you to do the whole progression that we did. So learning how to move through your hips, the deadlift, the explosive deadlift, the hike, and then the power swing. And you only need to do what we did in the video because we didn't do a shit ton of reps on any of those drills. And then start working the swing. It's really about just getting a whole bunch of reps under your belt to find rhythm.
What should my reps? What should I work for?
Your reps?
How many reps? How many sets?
Yeah, so just because we need to build up your endurance a little bit, I'm probably going to have you do 5 sets of 10.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing about repetitions, and this is the dirty secret that nobody really tells you about training at all, is that I can tell you to do any number of repetitions, but where is the quality per repetition, right?
Yeah.
So if you gave me 20 reps that were beautiful, I would prefer that than 50 reps that were just okay, right? So what is our guiding? I call it your compass. What is your compass while you're doing your training? It's going to be keeping a high level of repetitions that have consistent amounts of power. So your goal is that every rep looks the same and that you're delivering the same amount of power per repetition. So let's say you're doing the work and you get to like 35 and you notice that your power is diminishing or your technique is diminishing. Park the kettlebell. It's not worth trying to, well, it's not worth doing some shittier rest because you're probably just going to strain yourself at this time, right? So as I mentioned, if you set your timer for like a minute interval and then you're working for like 20 seconds, you're resting for 40, be intentional in that rest, and you should recover enough and not have, you don't have to do 100, you only need to do 50. And progressively, we're going to start building some of that volume to the 100 reps. But use a guiding principle of, am I delivering the same amount of power? Do my reps look the same? And is my technique, quality?
Yeah. Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You move pretty well with the swing. Like usually a lot of times it's a little bit of a clusterfuck, but you moved pretty well there.
It felt like that.
No, they look good. It was good. Trust me, I've seen a lot. No, that was good. So I'll get this into your file and then I'll type some notes into the program there and then I'll give you the description. But use this as a template to start up.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, Sam.
All right, cool, man. Have a good day. Stay warm.
Bye-bye. We'll try.
Bye-bye.